Hey Gabby, let me know if the text on the screen is like super pixely. Um, because if that's the case, I'm going to change it eventually. Not now, because it's too late. But yeah, just let me know. Okay, well, here we go. Here this goes. All right. Hello. How goes it? Um, my window's open because it's hot in this room, and if you hear cars, that's why, because it's hot in this room, and I need the air. So yeah, be prepared for that. Um, technically not started yet. My fan is not on. It's just hanging there. If I turn it on, I'll hear it in the audio when I edit this, and it'll just be horrible. So I'm just gonna just chill. Okay, so I guess I can fix this in the meantime. Hold up, I'm gonna change this to white. Or maybe I'll outline it in black. There we go. I think that's fine, right? That works. Okay. Cool. All right. Hey, thank you, Quentin. So I'm gonna start this off the same way I always do. So I have a good points to cut this video apart. So. Hello and welcome to the first ever live stream of the Spoken Misc podcast, the podcast about anything and everything, but mostly about reconnecting with people. This episode is special because it's the first live streamed broadcast in which I'm going to interact with whomever pops into this chat, and I'll ask, field any questions that people have, and just hang out and talk about stuff. It's a lot more casual than the other ones, and it's a lot more laid back than the other ones because it's not one-on-one, and it's not super intimate, and it's not like 10 personal questions. It's pretty much just me going to be ranting, I guess, or for a bit. I have a few topics that I kind of wanted to talk on my side, but I would love to hear from you guys if you guys wanted to hear anything specifically, because I would just love to talk to you guys, and I'll read your comments so the people on the podcast can hear it, and that way they're not left out in the dust. So yeah, the main topic, I guess, the first one that we're going to talk about is why did I want to live stream the Spoken Misc? Why am I doing this? Well, I have friends who are streamers, and they stream video games and they talk a lot and they hang out and they do stuff on live stream. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool and that's really fun. And so I was thinking that because streaming already has this kind of like back and forth question type of situation with the streamer, I was like, this fits kind of well for the Spoken Misc, in a certain respect, because the Spoken Misc is one-on-one usually, and it is a lot more intimate often. But I thought that, hey, it'd be cool to try out, and so this is the tryout. If it works out well, then cool, we'll continue doing this. If it doesn't work out well, then I don't lose too much. This is one live stream out of many. I don't really mind too much at all, to be honest. So this will just be a fun thing. If it winds up me just ranting, then cool, it's me just ranting. If it's a really good back and forth between a lot of people, that'd be even better. So yeah, that's the basic gist of why. But while we're on the topic of streaming, the friends that I mentioned earlier are the Real D Pooley, who is currently in this chat, and then Nico the Virgin, who is indisposed at the moment, and then also my friend Luke North. And then, of course, I follow a bunch of other, popular big streamers, but those are the friends that I actually have that stream consistently, and I wanted to shout them out because they're half the inspiration for why I'm doing this live stream. And a little nervous here. Don't know how to act on live stream, but that will be a-okay for me because this is a tryout. Okay. Does anybody in the chat currently have a question that they want to ask? Yay, nay, speak now, or forever hold your peace, because I think I'm going to have to change this text and move on. All right, cool. Moving on. So I'm super new to streaming because this is literally like the second, third, first and a half time I've actually done any of this. Um, so I have no idea how this is going to go or how slow I'm going to be, you know? Okay. So, one topic that I did want to touch upon, I guess, is Halloween this year. So, I've been thinking a lot. I've been thinking a huge amount about how how terrible and how shitty this year's been for all the kids who won't get to have a really great Halloween. You know, it's the first year in a long time that Halloween is on a Saturday, and not only that, it's not only on a Saturday, but it is also the first. Uh, it's also one of the first Halloweens on a full moon. So it's like the double whammy of like the perfect spooky Halloween night. But, you know, COVID exists and there's a pandemic going on. So kids can't really or shouldn't really go around and grab candies from strangers because they won't be clean and they won't be um, safe necessarily. So I was kind of brainstorming like what is a good kind of way to um, let kids be kids, but also, not continue to spread this uh, deadly disease. Um, and so there was this contraption I saw on Reddit where the person who built it built what's it called? It's like a system, like a pulley system, I guess. And it went from their like front door all the way to like the edge of their lawn and the edge of their driveway. And I was like, that's really freaking neat. That's really fucking neat because like I think that satisfies the social distancing rule, and then also, doesn't you know increase proximity and doesn't increase chances of spreading it because they can clean the stuff before they hand it to the kids. Um, but obviously it's the parents' deal to make sure that everything's clean for the kids and make sure everything's like totally okay, and that they're wearing masks and whatnot. Um, the real D Pooley says, I think there were going to be still some stupid white people who take their kids trick or treating. Yeah, I know that for a fact. That is going to be 100% what's going to happen. The thing that sucks about that is that like it's like I feel the need, like kids want to be kids and they want to let their kids be kids, but they're putting their kids in harm's way, like what benefit do you get from letting your kids grab candies from stranger? Like at best you get candies from strangers, whoop-de-doo, and at worst you could kill your kid. Like there is no real balance to that action, to that situation, because the scales would be so tipped one way. Like there's no way to have an effective way to prevent that possibility because someone's going to get it from Halloween. There is going to be someone who gets it, and there's going to be someone who dies from it because of it. And there's just no way to win. Gabby Gabs says, I saw that, but they're still touching the candy, right? That is in reference to the pulley thingy that I was mentioning earlier. I mean, yeah, I mean, the people can touch things. Like it's up to you to kind of be safe. Like I get drive-through food and I get groceries and stuff like that, and I wash my hands and I make sure that I'm not like I'm not like licking the packages or anything. And for the most part, I would say that's pretty safe. And if you're not super safe, you can always get like Clorox wipes and wipe it off, and then make sure that whatever's on it is like disinfected. I don't think the action of passing candy in packages to another person is necessarily the worst thing to happen with COVID, but it's still, going to be a problem because it's still a possibility, and it's still going to be something that happens, and it's still dangerous regardless. Um, Also, Gabby Gab says, "What if strangers don't give out candy?" What do you mean by that, Gabby? What do you mean if they don't give out candy? Because there's another possibility that I was thinking of too, which is like the reverse Halloween, um, and it's like the adults who can wear masks and can be smart about this, just go around to houses with kids or just any house and be like trick or treat, and then the opposite is that they drop candy inside of the house. It was kind of like an idea inspired by this old Halloween costume that I saw of these three people dressed up as old ladies, and they had like a door for their costume, so they would just like knock on the door, and then the people would open it, and then they'd open their door, and then they'd say, like, "Oh my god, your costumes are so great," and then they would drop the candy into the houses they were visiting. And I'm like, that's a really fun way to kind of circumvent all this. But as I said before, proximity is what causes the spread of this disease, and therefore it is going to be a shit show no matter what happens. Real Deal Pulley says, even if your kid doesn't get get sick, your kid could still infect like so many other kids in their families. And yeah, that's exactly the point. Like the kid could be asymptomatic the entire time, and they could just unknowingly spread it throughout their entire neighborhood that way. Like they could feel fine, and their parents are like, "Oh yeah, you're not coughing, you don't have a fever. Yeah, let's go trick or treating. That's totally fine." And maybe none of the other kids have that problem either. Like they're all asymptomatic, or they're all not showing symptoms, and so they just walk around willy nilly. But then because one person has it, a lot more kids could have it. However, I also think like maybe if everyone wore masks, that could also be a good solution too. But then, of course, you run into the problem of not everyone wants to wear masks, and they get really, really, really pissed off if you try to tell them to wear masks, even though, that's the easiest way to circumvent all of these problems. All right, water break. Okay. Gabby Gabs. Like, I feel like less people are going to be passing out candy too. To add, people won't answer doors because they don't want to risk interacting with trick or treaters. That is also very true. I don't think anyone who is over the age of like 50 should really participate in trick or treating, because that just adds to like the possibility of something really horrible happening. Because all it takes is that one interaction, and even if you both wear masks, the percent of you catching it is still not zero. So I feel like it's just gonna be a bad time all the way around. But at the same time, it sucks because like this would have been a really cool ass Halloween to experience, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. That's scary enough as it is. So it just 2020 is a shit year. It is pretty freaking bad. So I was trying to think of some more interesting ways to kind of still keep in the holiday spirit of Halloween, while maintaining, safe distance and social distance. So the ones that I know that I've done in the past before have included, like a horror movie marathon. Like horror movie marathons are pretty neat. I like them. I think they're cool. I haven't done one in a while though. Mostly because there aren't that many cool horror movies in the recent memory that I actually like. There's the franchise movies like Halloween and like Saws and all that like strangely commercial horror movies that I just can't get into. They're just too phoned in. They're like they like make them every year and year after year, and it's like they're not good. They're just not good movies. They're pretty trash, and I'm gonna say it. And I know I have some horror movie buff friends, but I'm like, you know, a lot of these movies they're they're pretty shitty. Like, to be honest. But horror movie marathon would be a good way to celebrate Halloween without, endangering the lives of several people. Um, what um, what are you guys gonna do for Halloween? Let me know. Because I think that'd be interesting because some people still decorate their houses, are still gonna decorate their houses. I don't care for decorating, to be honest. Uh, Not that it's a waste of time. It's just that, like, I don't own a house. I don't own an apartment. I don't own any place that I've lived in. So I don't really have this drive to decorate what isn't mine. Um, but I love seeing decorations in other people's houses. I remember when I was trick or treating as a kid, there was this one specific house in the neighborhood that had like an animatronic, like not like a dead dude, but it wasn't like a specific horror monster. It was like a generic, dead guy or something. And you'd walk up, and the thing would like be laid back in a chair, and then you'd walk up, and then it'd go like and say like spooky, scary thing, and like jump up at you. And I love those things. Those things are so cool. Those are like the funnest houses to go to because Halloween's supposed to be scary. You're supposed to be scared, and you want to be scared, and and those houses always went far above and beyond to kind of frighten little children, and I thought that was pretty cool, and I like that. And yeah, I didn't realize until I was older how expensive those things were either. They were pretty damn expensive. I think the last time I went to like Halloween spirit store, it was like $500 for one of those animatronic things. And the thing is that like they're shitty made. They're like shittily made, and that's like it. Like everything for Halloween is so cheaply and shitty made that um, it kind of cheapens the experience a little bit too. At least that's how I feel. Um, a little bit. Gabby Gab says, "Oh, I was such a chicken as a kid. Lol. I still am, to be honest. That's okay. I used to be I used to be such a chicken when I was little. I used to be the biggest chicken in the world. Halloween was like the one day where I accepted my chickenness and walked around because you get candy for being a chicken. That's kind of how I always saw it. And I used to like avoid watching scary movies for like the longest time. I uh hated like Chucky. I was so scared of Chucky. I used to run away from my babysitter's house because I got scared. There was this one time, I think we were watching Jeepers Creepers 1 or 2 or something. We were watching something, and it was like 9, 10 at night, and I just could not handle it. So I like grabbed my like stuff, like my backpack or something or whatever, and I walked all the way back home. And it wasn't that far because as a kid, um, everything seems huge. Everything seems so big, and everything seems like a journey or a trek. It was just down the street, but I was like, nope, I'm not having this. I'm gonna walk out, and so I did, and I walked all the way home because I was scared, which is kind of ironic and hilarious to me because it was also at night, and it was also very lonely on the way home because I was the only one who did it, and it was dark. It was like very dark, and I was like a dummy who was like, I'm gonna go experience the real scary dark world instead of this fake one. So children's minds never made sense. Mine didn't. Um, Gabby Gab says, "Oh heck no, I avoided all the spooky houses, and I never watched Chucky because I was too chicken." Well, have you watched it since? Because it's it's pretty funny now that I've like rethought about it. Like a haunted doll, that's stupid, hilarious ass premise. Oh, you've never seen it? Okay, I know what we're watching. That can be on our horror movie list, by the way. Um, but yeah, Chucky used to scare me a lot, and I think at some point in the future, I started watching all the like Chucky sequels, and it made him a lot less scary because the sequels all got, you know, they get worse as the time goes on. They got like, what is it? I know they had Bride of Chucky and then Son of Chucky. I think I've seen all those two, um, and they're so bad. They're like worse than B movies. They're like C movies for crappy or something. It's like they're not even good. Gabby Gab says, I've seen bits of The Bride of Chucky, but I think that's it. So yeah, well, you don't need to see more. You only need to see bits. Like, you don't need to have any more of that movie in your memory, because I have more bits of that movie in my memory and I don't want them here. And it's just dumb. It's like just so dumb. The Real Deep Pooley says the original Chucky was supposed to be taken seriously, but the rest are parodies, basically. Oh, was that like the actual intent? I didn't know that. I thought that they, were like the Tommy Wiseau's of horror, where they tried to make them scary, but they just, you know, fucked up because horror is so hard to get right. But it's okay. Like, it's people like them. Everyone has their own tastes. Like, I don't personally like the Chucky movies, but I'm not gonna like shit on anyone who actually likes them. I'm just gonna tell you, like, they're not good movies. Also, what is up, Greg? How goes it? How is it in Texas? I know it is 2 hours ahead there, so it's pretty late night for you. I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone in chat's doing well. Hello, hello. So where was I? Chucky movies? What are some other Halloween or horror movies that we can talk about? Throw them out to me, because I only really cared about like Insidious. Like, Insidious was my favorite horror movie for like the longest time, and it was because it was like a breath of fresh air after so many like shitty like sequels of like Paranormal Activity and Saw, where it was just lame and bad. Um, Greg says, pretty good, just laying in bed. Oh, that's cool. So you're relaxing, you're chilling. D. Pooley says, oh god, my service is so bad, it's buffering and skipping every 3 seconds, so I'm gonna tune in when I get home if you're still going. Well, I'm going until 10 or longer if the conversations keep going. So I guess, yeah, tune in whenever. Tune in when you can. Drop in, drop by. This video is going to be up, after everything's done. We are chilling. Today is a chilling day. I'm a little bit nervous, as you can probably tell by how fast and how rapidly I'm talking. But yeah, we will see you when we see you. Greg says Halloween. I'm going to mention this on the live stream. I've actually never seen Halloween. I was too scared to watch it as a kid. And then as a teenager, I like avoided it. And I don't know why. Like, I just never watched it. And so to this day, I think I haven't seen it. Like, I know of it. I know Michael Myers is the main dude. I know that his mask is modeled after William Shatner, and it just bleached. And I know that Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. And I know they had the recent reboot that totally eliminated all the shitty sequels to it. But like, I've literally never seen it. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. Because at this point, I totally could just sit down and watch it on my own. I think it's because it wasn't available for streaming for such a long time. And like, I have a real apprehension to renting stuff that I don't know if I'm going to like, because horror movies are always hit or miss for me. Like I said, I either like them or I automatically hate them, because horror is very hard to get right, in my opinion. And it's very difficult to find that correct balance of having an interesting story that doesn't go over the top, but also is grounded enough to kind of still scare the crap out of me, So yeah. Gabby says she has never seen... Me neither. I've only seen bits. Yeah, I think you've seen more than I have, to be honest, because I don't have like any recollection. The only like working knowledge that I have of Halloween and Michael Myers is from playing Dead by Daylight with Nico, and that's not a lot, because the game's nothing like what his actual character is supposed to be. It's just mechanics of stuff. Greg says, it's okay. I'm not a fan of horror movies because they're a bit predictable, but it's one of the iconic ones. Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with horror movies. It's because like they have to be simple, because they have to cater to the lowest common denominator, lowest common viewer, and they have to make sure the story is easy enough to follow to scare you and to, keep you entertained for like an hour and a half. So the stories are always kind of like relatively simple. And that sucks because when you go to the opposite end of the spectrum, though, like it gets even worse. Like complicated horror movies are non-existent. I don't think I've seen a complicated quote unquote horror movie because it's so hard to actually um, get right because complexity doesn't work for horror. I don't think like it doesn't mesh well with the genre because if someone loses track of what's happening, then there goes the fear factor. There goes the um, scariness. It just disappears. Um, but I know Halloween's one of the iconic horror movies, so fuck it. I will check it out. I will do it sometime soon. I want to say this week, but I can't promise anything. But I will update you guys if I do finish it and watch it. Gabby says, does Signs count as a horror movie? I've only seen parts of that movie too, but I used to turn it off because it creeped me out too much. I would count Signs as kind of a not a horror movie per se, but like it is a pretty scary movie. Um, I used to love Signs actually. Signs was one of the movies that I actually liked that scared me. And it's only because of wrong side, aliens. Like I love alien movies. It's Signs was a really good movie because it scared you, but you never saw the aliens, but you saw how everyone reacted to it, and I love that. I like that. Um, the first contact, scary world-ending type of situation. Like I love those kinds of stories. I wish that there were better ones, but uh, you know that can't happen. Someone's locking their car outside and making a lot of noise and being a general douchemonger. Greg says, "It Follows." I heard is one that's really good, and The Witch. I've actually seen The Witch. I haven't seen It Follows though. The Witch is really good. The only problem is that it's very slow. It's a very slow paced movie, and I was watching it with Gabby actually, and she fell asleep, and I don't blame her. It's painfully slow. It is one of the slowest movies I've ever watched, and the payoff isn't as grand as you'd expect it to be. Because it's a different kind of horror movie, and that's the thing with A24 horror movies is that they do things differently, which I appreciate, and I like them for that. But I haven't seen all of them, But I have seen The Witch, and it's like mostly suspense. I think for The Witch, it's like you get the ambiance of all the creepy witchy stuff going on, and it's not until the end where you like see the tragedy of what's her name, Thomason, like fall to the witch's thing because her family is a piece of garbage, and it's like low key like they did this to her because they were bad parents or something. So I just thought that was it's a very interesting movie. It's been a while since I've seen it though, so I'm probably gonna miss up some parts and some themes, but that's what I gleaned from it, and I thought that was really interesting. Um, Gabby says The Witch put you to sleep. Yes, it did. It did put you to sleep. It was hilarious because I was over there kind of enthralled by it, and you were just like, not really. You don't snore, but whatever. Greg says, doesn't the devil come out at the end? Yeah, he does. He does come out at the end. He like is like a black goat, and then the witches hold like a weird witches circle in the forest at night or something, and then the devil literally comes out or something, and he like tempts her. He no, the goat turns into the devil, and he like tempts her to go join the witches, and the witches do this weird like dance, and yeah, it's creepy. It's very creepy. Oh, spoiler alert. I mean, it's a spoiler alert, but like, it's it's been out for like how many years? Like, I don't think you have to worry about that, like at all. Um, you know, it's been out for a while. You could have watched it yourself. Didn't mean to bump my mic. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other horror movies. Okay, so I think the horror movie that I did like the most has been Insidious, and I don't know what exactly it was about it that kind of attracted me to liking that movie because I'm not super into horror either. Um, but I remember seeing it in the theater, and I think it's like partially the soundtrack and then the direction. I forget who directed Insidious, but they are pretty great because they revitalized a lot of horror movies. Because at that point, it was just a bunch of the terrible sequels for everything. The Paranormal Activities, the Saws, et cetera, which were trash. Um, but they were okay. James Wan directed it. Oh, okay, yeah. So James Wan's a really good director. I thought it was him, but I wasn't positive. But yeah, he kind of revitalized horror movies for all of Hollywood, I would say. Like that's how big he was. But yes, Greg, I also agree. Just the first one, though, because I haven't seen the third one, and the second one's it's the sequel, so it's never as good as the first one. Um, because like sequels dampen the original, because the original was really good. Like the original movie of Insidious was probably my favorite horror movie for a while because the music was like on point, like that violin stroke, that like really creepy, like when it like you guys know what I'm talking about, that ting, like I can't do it. I'm not a violin. I can't recreate the sound, but you all know what I'm talking about. That violin screech thing, and I it's just so good. I love that. And then they made Tiptoe Through the Tulips creepy, with that little ghost kid who was dancing to it, in that one scene. Um, and now I play it to mess with Gabby every chance I get because I think it's pretty funny, and I actually do like the song. I like Tiny Tim. He's a very interesting musician and fellow, and I liked listening to him. Um, Greg says, "I have me and my sister were laughing most of the time." Um, Wait, so you have watched it, or you watched the sequels and the third one? Because if so, yeah, that's all I would expect from watching the sequels to that fucking movie. Like sequels, like I said earlier, just ruin the original. Like the original Insidious was like super like on point. Like the creepiness was solid, the lore was solid, the story was solid. Like when that demon appears behind that lady, it freaked me out. I haven't been freaked out in a movie like that like for such a long time. And like I said, the music was perfect and was on point. And in that scene where the ghosts are like looking at him and like they're looking at him all creepy, and then they like cuts and like shifts back to a creepy smile like almost instantly. Like I love that scene. I love that moment. That is such a cool moment inside of the movie. But then once you get into the sequels, none of that's original anymore. None of that is the same. None of that is actually new, and it's not something that's interesting anymore because it's already been done. Even if it's by the same person, it's not fresh, and therefore it's not as exciting or as frightening or as cool. And that's kind of the problem with like franchise horror movies, like like take Halloween for example. Like all those sequels were so bad they had to reboot Halloween like 2 years ago, and then they have a sequel to the reboot, which is probably going to fail because, like I said, sequels ruin the originals, and it's not going to be good. And I'm pretty sure it's going to tank the series or the franchise again, not just because of the pandemic, but because people don't like sequels to horror movies as much as Hollywood likes to think. Sure, um, there's like horror movie buffs who like watching horror movies and stuff like that, but like I don't think that you should like cater to like the same group of people who are only going to give you like so much because they just like going to horror movies with their buddies and pals. It's like it's cheap filmmaking. It's cheap filmmaking. It's like every horror B movie, every Sharknado, every um, just half-assed attempt at making a movie. That's what most like horror movie sequels have been, at least in my opinion. Um, if you think I'm wrong, argue with me, fight me. You're gonna be proven wrong, but I like the effort. Um, Gabby says, "Ooh, then what kind of storyline topic do you think would be fresh for horror movies?" Um, that's a good one. What do I think would be fresh? I don't know. It's very hard to think of stuff being fresh because everything has been pretty much done after a while. What I was talking with Nico about this after a while ago, and what needs to happen is there needs to be a new original character, like a new monster, killer thing. You know, so something a la like like a new thing to add to like Freddy and like Michael Myers and Jason and something more iconic. There is a plane or a something currently, so I'm gonna keep on talking for a bit. So there needs to be something iconic, like an iconic killer, iconic monster, to kind of, I think, be interesting in this day and age. I think it would be interesting. It wouldn't be necessarily like fresh, but a new monster would be super cool. Like when the Demogorgon was introduced into Stranger Things, that like it was like the '80s killers of the era, the era that it's set in, and so that's kind of something that's similar, where they have a new monster, a new like killing machine type thing that works really well, and it works perfectly for within that universe. And I think that um, Stranger Things is probably that good example of a fresh for horror movies. Except it's not a movie; it's a show. But like it does a lot of things that are fresh, but then also uh, not references. What's it called when you're not referencing, but you're doing it reverently? Hmm. Oh, it pays an homage. It pays an homage to those um, '80s movies that it's based off of, and I think that's super cool. And that's something that was fresh. It's not fresh anymore because Stranger Things has been out for a while, but that is something that I would have considered fresh at the time, because it was, and that's why it's so popular. And that's why it's so big. I think that going into other types of cultures like horror stories too could work, and making more artsy type of like horror stuff would be so interesting and so awesome. And like if they made La Llorona better, that would be like chef's kiss, because the Hollywood type movie was going to be trash, and I already knew it from the start. Like that was going to be obviously trash. But if like an actual Mexican filmmaker or an actual Mexican American filmmaker made it, and did something with it that wasn't Hollywood bullshit, it would have been super dope. It would have fucking succeeded. But Hollywood's stupid sometimes, especially the horror side. Um, Greg says it's not a movie, but have you seen The Haunting of Hill House? I haven't. I wish I have. Um, I had it on my list for such a long time, and it's just hanging there. I haven't gone around to it. I'm currently watching The Boys, so I tend to not watch other things currently. Um, yeah, I wish I could say I have seen it. Gabby says, I feel like there should be more animated horror movies. There's a lot of potential with the medium to make really creepy, scary stuff. That's a extremely good point. Like, there's there's such a missed market for like a lot of animation horror, which is why there's this I don't know if it's a series or if it's a movie that's going to come out, but there's this manga artist named Junji Ito, and he makes some really creepy, disgusting horror type of manga, and it's like it's fucked up. It is disturbing. Like I can only like glance at pages because I can't handle it, and I know my buddy Alan really likes it, and he's into that kind of stuff, but like that is something that I'm kind of like, that is scary. Like that would be cool to have, That would be something new, something kind of fresh to kind of witness. And I'm probably going to watch that whenever it does come out, because I think it'd be kind of interesting and cool. Greg says, like Japanese horror, that's just terrifying. And it's a good show, horror, show me. And my girlfriend loved it. Um, okay. I'll check it out at some point. I'll check out Haunting of Hill House. Can't promise anything though, because I have a lot of things on my list. But maybe it's because it's Halloween. I'll give it a shot. Yup. Legend says Panda Keith. He does make some insane horror, Greg. Um, oh, he does have. He has a movie out. Junji Ito. Oh, that's cool. Maybe then I'll check that out. Oh, Panda has a Japanese horror rec. What is it? Lay it on me. Let me know. You could send it personally or send it in this chat. I'll try to remember it. Because I think it'd be. I like watching interesting stuff. my friend tried to get me to watch some horror anime, which is always hit or miss way back in high school, because like there's a fine line for me where it becomes excessive gore. Oops. Like excessive gore in an anime doesn't freak me out. It just disgusts me, you know? Some people really like bodily harm in their horror stuff, and they really like being grossed out by like body parts and like blood everywhere and like things getting eaten and whatnot. But to me, that's not scary. It's just gross, and I don't think it serves a horror story too well. You know, like it's just gross to me. I don't know if you guys agree to that, but like I don't like gore in movies, like excessive gore. I like gore. I do like gore. I don't like excessive gore. Like the whole point is that, ooh, isn't this disgusting? Aren't you scared of this happening to you? And I'm like, no, because this is ridiculous and this isn't what would be in real life. So I'm not scared like at all. But that's just me. So the rec is Ju-on Origins on Netflix. Okay, it's an 8 episode series based on an actual haunted house in Japan. Ooh, ooh, that sounds pretty cool. Hey Gabby, you want to watch that with me? I'm just kidding. You probably won't want to. Greg says Geo is the one that got made into a movie. By the way, oh okay. I don't follow Junji Ito. I just knew of the thing that that was happening, and I was impressed by like the trailer that I saw. Like I'm not like a huge fan because he kind of also falls into that category of like gross for grossness sakes and not because it's actually scary. And so I have like this um appreciation for what he does, but also like a apprehension because it's like shock horror, shock stuff. It's like just ooh, and that's cool. It's just not my kind of horror. I like getting that built up. I like that suspense, and I like that sinking feeling in your gut that something bad's about to happen, and then it happens or it doesn't happen, and you either feel relief or you're like, oh my god, that happened, and you just feel like shit. Like I like that kind of suspense movies. Like those are really cool. Greg says, "Oh yeah, his shit is gross. I can't watch it for too long." Yeah, see that's the thing. Like I could have checked out his manga at any time. Like I know his manga is called Uzumaki, but like I've seen like images and I'm good with just like little tidbits that I've gotten cuz like it's just it feels excessive. I'm sure it's good, but like it just feels over the top, I guess, is what I would say. Not that that's bad. I know that some people like it and respect, and like I do respect it. I do think it's great art. It's just not my personal taste. Um, it's kind of like the same thing with Saw movies. Like the first Saw was, I think, a really solid movie. It was a really fucked up mental puzzle, uh, gore fest that I thought worked really, really well. I hated it the first time I watched it because I was like a little kid and I was terrified of it. But you know, as I got older, I rewatched it and I appreciated it because it's really solid. Saw One is so solid. Like the gore is like right at that cusp of being a little bit overboard, but like not too overboard like the sequels and everything else has, because it felt realistic. It felt grounded. Because like it's like these are all situations that this dude, this fucked up maniac, can put them in, that you can get put in, and you can die from if there is a maniac like that. And that is terrifying. That's the scariest part about Saw, is that someone could have done that. But then you get into the sequels, and then there's like pits of needles and like crazy contraptions and like rooms where you're stuck in, and if you turn the key, you get hit, blasted in the face with a shotgun or something. And it's like, okay, it becomes a little bit less realistic, and then it becomes, you know, a bit more ridiculous. Um, Greg asks, "How's The Boys?" By the way, I've been wanting to watch it. It's so good, honestly. It low key falls into the same situation of Saw, of having too much gore, but um, I think that having that gore really cements the story a bit too, because it's all about humans versus superheroes, and it's thematic because, you know, humans are just bags of meat, and that's kind of what superheroes get treat people as, and it's really really interesting to see the show play with that truth and that like um disgusting gore factor. Plus the story's super good. The characters are phenomenal. Keith Urban is legendary. He's already my freaking Eomer, but like now he's also Billy Butcher, and he melts into those roles. Like he's just so fantastic, honestly. Um, Greg says I've never seen a Saw movie, and Gabby says the first one is good. You know you're not missing out terribly too much, Greg, on the Saw movies. I definitely do recommend watching the first one for sure. Like it's a good lesson on what a good like low budget horror movie could be. Like it's really solid. But then the sequels get it just goes downhill. Like I get that people like horror movies and stuff like that, but like come on, at some point like just give up the franchise, like let it move on, like stop fanboying after something that's now become shitty. But to each their own. I'm not gonna knock on you for like wanting to watch them like every fall season, but come on, they could be better. And if you don't vote with your wallet, they're not gonna get any better. Trying to think of other horror movies that I like. Um, hmm, 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 hmm. Hmm. Actually, it's very hard for me to think of horror movies that I like. Like, like I said, it's always difficult to kind of find that right balance of suspense and horror and gore and whatnot. Gabby says the fourth kind. The fourth kind is so good. Like I really like the fourth kind. It's like the same situation as Signs, where it's a horror alien movie, but the thing is that you don't know if the aliens are even real because because it could just be the mental illness of this place in this town and people going crazy just because they're going crazy. And I oh I love it. I loved it. It's been a while since I've seen it, and I kind of wanted to watch it recently, but I haven't gotten around to it because I can't find it streaming for free anywhere. And I'm a cheap son of a bitch, so I'm not gonna pay for it. Um, and I I really appreciated that movie when I saw it. I can't remember too much about it now, except that the aliens were mistaken for owls, or the owls were mistaken for aliens. But I do remember it being really good and creepy. I remember that scene where the dude is like holding his family hostage. That was wild. That was a really cool moment, I would say. Um, Greg says the force can fuck me up the first time I watched it, and then Gabby says same. White Owl still creep me out. I agree. It is pretty. It is a pretty fucked up movie. It is it's pretty nuts. It's fucking wild, and I don't know. I love things that kind of make people break their psyches, and I think that's super cool. That's kind of why I like Science too. It's the same situation where people kind of go nuts because there's aliens everywhere, or like signs everywhere that aliens are coming, and I think that's really interesting. But Greg asks, "What do you think about Joker?" I didn't think to ask you last time we talked. I really did like Joker. I sorry, got a lot of anxiety burps. Um, I like Joker a lot. I think that Joaquin Phoenix is a phenomenal Joker, and he is quite possibly one of the greatest actors ever because he melted into that role. Like you see Joaquin's face, but like he's such a method actor that like after like 5 minutes, I just saw Arthur Fleck, I saw Joker, I saw that guy, and not an actor playing that guy, which is so amazing to me that actors can hit that level still to this day, even in the day of excessive media and stuff. Because like the last thing that I remember seeing him in was Her, and that is such a departure from Her, um, because in Her he's like a timid, he is kind of timid in Joker too, but like timid in a very different way and different mannerisms and stuff like that. But he portrays Joker really well. All that anxiety, all that mental disorder, all of that downtrodden type of forgotten by society feeling. He portrays that so well. And the other thing that's very interesting is that Joaquin became like an advocate for people with like mental health issues like that afterwards. Like um, he mentioned that if we don't help people who can't help themselves, that when he accepted his BAFTA award or something, or his Oscar or something. And it's like that role really like fucked him up, I guess, too, and spoke to him because of it. That's one movie that was awesome, but good God, did it fuck me up. Yeah, yeah, Greg. That is kind of the same thing too. Like after it, all the memes where people were like, "We live in a society. We really do live in a society, don't we?" Um, it's true. Like it's like half a meme, but like honestly, it fucks you up because it's this dude. He was just like beaten up by life, and then once he finally starts to get, you know, or what he thinks is good control over it, he goes killing people and he gets psycho and he like snaps and that happens. That's a possibility. Like it's just it makes you like yeah, it makes like Abby says, Joker really makes you reflect on society. Like that's true. Like that's the whole point of Joker. And then at the same time, it's not just a reflection of just society. Um, it's a reflection of wealth inequality too. Like the reason why the Waynes were portrayed as villains in Joker were because, you know, we have massive amounts of wealth inequality right now in the United States. And it was very interesting to kind of paint it like that because it made the Joker a little bit more heroic than all the other previous incarnations of the Joker. Because, you know, he shot those two or three preppy douche canoes, and I didn't feel bad for them. I know that's fucked up, but like they beat up on a man who was laughing because of his mental disability, and like, you know, karma's a bitch, I guess is all I can say. Like they beat someone to near death and then he, you know, retaliated and that's their fault. Like if they just, you know, weren't pieces of shit, they would still be alive. But then when they were portrayed as like, you know, angels to the city, important business people, like that ties into this whole idea that the rich can get away with everything in this country. And it's kind of speaking to a lot of things that are, you know, going on in the US. And I thought that was super cool. Like it's a very apt kind of movie. Um, Greg says, what's scary about it is that it can actually happen. To quote the clown, Prince of Crime, all it takes is one bad day. Well, if they weren't rich Wall Street guys, no one would have cared. Well, that's also the point, too. Like, if they were just some street level thugs, like, it wouldn't have had as an impact because they would have been at someone at his level, you know? Because that's just how we see the world. Like, someone at your, you know, societal level killing another person at their societal level doesn't make waves. It doesn't matter because it's poor people fighting poor people. And who gives a fuck about poor people, you know? But you make it a poor person kills a rich person, and suddenly it's a lot more interesting. Or you make it a rich person killing a poor person, and then suddenly it becomes more interesting. Um, and I think they made such a super strong choice to kind of make it Arthur Fleck be the person who kind of sparks like a pseudo revolution or revolt in Gotham City against the rich people like the Waynes. I thought it was super interesting. But yes, you are right. Is that it can actually happen to anyone, um, because all it takes is one bad day. The reason why the Joker is so amazing as a character is because he is the antithesis of Batman. And what the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix does, I'm gonna change the text for a second though because it's not horror movies anymore. It's Joker right now, and I'll probably change it eventually. Um, it it's like you said, he's the antithesis to Batman. But in this movie, the antithesis to Batman, who doesn't exist yet technically, is anarchy, like it usually is. But it's anarchy against an oppressive system of wealth inequality, and that's something that's very interesting to me because Batman's superpower isn't just, you know, his martial arts skills, it's that he's rich. Like, how do you make the superhero, the most iconic superhero's superpower into one of the worst negatives ever? And this movie does that. It's like Batman would be some corrupt rich asshole who beat up on poor people because he could, you know? Instead of, you know, how we all see him as like a kind vigilante who has a moral code that we may or may not agree with, but we like root for him, because he's a person. But in Joker, in that universe, he would be like a total murderous, like crazy rich fascist, and it's kind of insane to think that that's what the route they went. Like they almost made him kind of like a hero, and that's something that I think is kind of interesting. I mean, we only see it from his perspective, and he thinks he's the hero of his own story, so that kind of makes sense. But I don't know. I think Joker's a really really strong movie. It's a really good movie. I have it on 4K in my room. I haven't seen it in a while though. I might watch it again. Greg says, also they aren't usually the ones that say use guns for self defense. And Greg also says, well, that's why people didn't like it. Yeah, I mean that's not the filmmaker's fault. People paint reality with every kind of brush, and if you don't like the way society looks, then you should change it. Like you can't get mad at somebody for portraying how they see reality is. Like this is the way the filmmaker saw the world, and this is the way they presented it within the context of this story and this universe. And if you were upset about that, then make society look in the mirror, because we have a lot of issues that we got to work on, and this movie kind of helps address that. And I think that's really cool and interesting. And if you don't like it, if you're complaining that Joker's gonna cause stuff, then you're probably dumb. Greg says, because it showed the other side of the coin and people don't like seeing the truth. Yeah, that's exactly it. People don't like seeing the truth that someone can snap, that someone can become like an Arthur Fleck. Like they don't understand that we create our monsters, like we create society's monsters. We are our own worst enemies as a society, and neglecting some aspects of society or pushing down aspects of ways to help people, it just creates monsters. And Joker's really really good at showing that. Do. Okay. Oh, people don't like seeing how ugly the world really is. No one wants to see that things are that bad and can get that bad. Yeah. Not to get, I don't want to get super political, but we are, we're at kind of a similar point in not just United States history, but also, world history, because wealth inequality isn't just a US thing either. It's a worldwide thing. And, we can either succeed in helping out the planet and helping out the world, or we get a bunch of people wearing clown masks tearing down buildings. So it's something to think about, something that's very timely. It's very timely. Joker's very timely. Okay. Okay, I'm changing the topic to my hair. Why? Because I don't know. I felt like it. I wanted to talk about it because I have a ponytail currently. I have I haven't cut my hair technically since January. I haven't cut my hair since January. And Gabby cut it for me right after we went into a little while after we went into lockdown and to quarantine and shelter in place or whatever. And yeah, I wanted to turn it into a man bug, Greg, but it's not long. It's just long enough to need to tie it up, otherwise I can't see, but not short enough to where a man bug would actually work out. I think maybe now it might be okay, but I've tried it. It just comes apart, and I'll just keep the ponytail. It's a lot simpler, easier to deal with. But I low key kind of want to like cut my hair. Gabby is chanting ponytail in chat, but what if I told you that I wanted to just take some scissors and just like snip, just chop off like this entire ponytail? I don't think you'd be happy, but I kind of want a haircut again because I I feel too warm. It feels very warm on my head when I have long hair. Like if I take my hair out of this fucking ponytail and stuff, like and let it fall, it'll just like overheat the back of my head. It'll overheat like the sides of my head right here, where the like this hair is already falling apart. You know, having long hair is not fun. I do not pity women with their hair. Like that is a burden. I fucking hate this. I hate it. Um, I do like it. I mean, I hate the heat. I like the hairstyle. I did like having a ponytail. Like I think it's kind of cool. Um, no, Greg, I do not think I'm going to buzz it. Mostly because Gabby would be pissed, and I told her that like it's either you can help me cut my hair or I just buzz it. And she was like, no, you're not gonna buzz it. Like I'll help you. I'll help you. And I was like, okay, cool. And so that's probably what's gonna happen again. Like I kind of want to buzz it, like just for the fuck of it, just for shits and giggles. But someone would probably be very upset, and that is a okay. Um, because I don't think I'd look good in a buzz cut. You know, like Gabby, I'm not against it, but go to a barbershop. Please don't chop on your own. Yeah, but then like that's half the fun. Like chopping off my own hair is like half the fun though. Like I like the idea of doing it. I don't know why I like the idea of doing it myself, but I think it's kind of fun, like learning a new skill. And if I fuck it up, then oh no, I don't care about most people's opinions too much in regards to my hair. But before I had this really long hair, I used to like to get the fades like on the sides over here. I should do this. I used to like have it like down to like my scalp almost, and like I'm just thinking of that haircut because in this heat wave, in this really shitty, super hot summer, I was like, God, I wish I fucking sucked it up and went to a barbershop before the pandemic started or really got bad. I mean, because then I wouldn't have this like overheating issue, and it's just regrets. Many mistakes were made. Um, but I think that I don't know. I like trying new hair things. Like new hair things are pretty fun to me. Um, I don't like dyeing my hair mostly because it's like black, and I don't want to have to go through the process of bleaching it because I feel like that'd be annoying. Um, but having this ponytail and not having my typical hairstyle this summer has been pretty cool. Like I don't know, I kind of like it. It's different, but not like super different because I did have my hair this long before in the past. Like in high school, my hair used to be around this length too. I used to like headbang to everything. I don't know if no, Greg, you didn't make me that point, but Quentin, if you were here, he would remember. And it was like the perfect hair to headbang to. It was like rocker emo hairstyle, and that was like peak long hair me. Um, but I'm hitting that point pretty much. Greg says my girlfriend almost shaved my head because my hair was so long. I wish Gabby had done that. Because then I wouldn't have so much hair on my head right now. But she helped me cut it, and that's great. Um, I sympathize with her. I sympathize with your girlfriend. I would, if I had a razor that worked half as good, I probably would have shaved my head off at some point in this entire situation. But yeah, I'm okay with my hair. I love my hair. Yeah. Um, but if there were any crazy hairstyles that you guys have wanted to try, or have tried, what are they? Like, there was at one point when I was younger that I wanted to have a mohawk. I don't know why I wanted a mohawk. I just liked the idea of mohawks, and I was like this close. I was like super close to getting one. But I think my mom or my sister or my cousins or someone shut me down and were like, "No, you're not doing that. That's stupid." And I never had to. I never got to wear a mohawk. Still regret it to this day. I mean, life's my oyster. I could totally do it right now. But at the same time, I'm older now and I realize I don't think I could pull off a mohawk. A mohawk is not something for me to do. It's just not. I'm not in the right demographic, I guess. I'm not a punk rocker. I'm not a rebel. I am a rebel, but not like too much of a rebel. Gappy says, I wanted an undercut, but never did it, lol. I'm glad that I didn't. What is the undercut, the one where they like shave like the back of the head? Like up to a certain point, kind of like this, like what I have right here, like, and then they just let the top of the hair fall back. Is that what an undercut is? I think that is. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But why didn't you? Why aren't you glad you didn't do that? Is it because it's a hassle to deal with, or what? Okay. You'd shave under the top, stays long, but mainly if your hair is super thick. Yeah, like that's the blessing and the curse of the Mexican people is that we have extremely thick hair and dark hair too. We got, those Indio genes and they just fuck everything up, but also make us have really luscious hair, I would say. Greg says, I've always been super picky when it came to my hair, so I've never wanted to try anything crazy. That makes sense. Like, I don't recall you ever having different hair. Like, even when I saw you that other time, like, you didn't have your hair too much different. That's just totally fine. It's totally great because, people can tell when hair does or does not suit someone, and it's very obvious. And it is a pain in the ass, especially if someone fucks up your hair. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten really shitty haircuts. Like, I remember this one time I asked for a fade from someone and they shaved it all the way down to the scalp, like straight up, like fucking skin was there instead of, like a little tiny amount. And it took forever to grow back and it looked so stupid. It looked so bad because I still had like kind of longish hair, like at the top. It was like maybe 3 to 4 inches, and it just looked really dumb. It looked really bad. But luckily my hair grows back fast, and so it came back super quickly. But God, it would just looked so stupid. And then before then, when I was a kid, I used to go to like some like super cheap barber shops, um, and $8 haircuts only get you so far because they you get what you pay for with haircuts for sure. Because like I've never been happy with like any of the haircuts I've gotten from like Supercuts or like other places. It's just not. They're just not good. Not good at all. Because nope, it's been the same since I was 10. I just cut it slightly shorter now and actually comb it. Oh, nice way to keep it consistent. You're like a character in a video game who doesn't have to who never changes their hairstyles in like the main menus. I'm like one of those people that like changes it whenever the fuck they feel like it, I guess. Except for now, having long hair. All right. I think we've talked about hair enough. Do you agree? I think we've talked about hair enough. Do I go to Timeless? No. I stopped going to Timeless because they got mad at me. Because okay, so I used to go to Timeless Barbers, which is a barbershop in Morgan Hill, and they were super cool and super good. But one day, I had to drive Brody to the airport. I had to drive him because it was like he was shipping off to. I think it was when he shipped off to Kuwait. The first time, and so, he texts me like 9 p.m. the night before to see if I can give him a ride, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, dude, I could totally do that, but my dumb ass forgot to cancel my appointment, and so I just like fucking skipped or bailed, and I texted him like like beforehand, that like, hey, so I have to drive my friend to the airport. Like I can't get my haircut today. And the dude was like, next time you come in, it's $20 extra surcharge. And I'm like, okay, dude, like this is the only time I've ever missed an appointment. This is the only time that like this has ever happened to me. And I'm like, you don't have to be fucking rude, dude. Like it was just like so fucking abrasive. I was like, yeah, I had to drive my friend to the fucking airport. Like, what the hell? I don't remember his fucking name. Like, I don't know who the fucking barber was. I choose to forget him because he was a dick. Um, but like, yeah, like, fuck, like it was my first time, dude. Like, I texted you that I had to fucking drop my friend off. Like, fuck you. Like, fuck that. So I never went back there. I switched to places in San Jose. Like, there's this place I went to that was really good. It was called Frank the Barber in downtown San Jose, and they were so much better than Timeless. Like the haircuts were better. The I guess the vibe of the shop was a lot better to me too, and it worked out. And I went there for like pretty much all the rest of my college like haircuts until recently, where I graduated and it wasn't around downtown that much anymore, and so I switched to some other place. But I haven't been back there since the pandemic. So it is whatever. But the thing is, like, I've never also spent more than like $50 on a haircut. I think the most I've ever spent has been like 35, and I think that's like the sweet spot of like price to good haircut ratio. Greg says I had a film experience with a tattoo I tried to get recently, and I've heard of that place. Oh, okay, cool. Wait, so like you had some experience where you had to deal with someone being mad that you canceled a tattoo appointment? Because that is pretty shitty, you know? Like it's like if it's the first time, like I feel like people should cut some slack, you know? Like it's like, oh, sorry, like life fucking happens. Like I can't control the goddamn universe, even though I wish I could. Oh yeah, that's lame. Like everyone should get at least like one pass. Like I was like when he texted me like you have to owe me for the no call no show fee, and I'm like, how about I never show up again? Sucks to suck, dude. You played yourself. You could have had a customer for like ever, but you just had to be a dick about it, and now you're never gonna have a fucking another customer from me. As me, whatever, doesn't matter. Let's talk about tattoos. Why? Because Greg brought it up, and I felt like that'd be cool to talk about. The dude wanted 300 to 500 for a tattoo the size of my hand. Whoa. So like because you didn't show up, or because like he just wanted that much? Oh, he was good, but not that good. Oof. Yeah, I mean, some people really overvalue their work, I guess. I mean, I don't know anything about tattoos. That's why I kind of have this as the topic head, because I don't know shit. Like I don't know jack. But I feel like if the design is simple, like why does it have to be that expensive, you know? Like if it's not like shading or something. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. He just wanted that much and he was really unprofessional. Oof. Yeah, no, fuck that guy. That's way too much. That's as much as like I get paid for a day rate on like stuff over here for work. It's not. That's too much. Um. Yeah. God, I forgot how expensive tattoos can be though too. Like if it's someone that's really good, that's like a nothing. That's like chump change, you know? Because some people probably pay like 600 to like above for other stuff, but like if you're not for lack of a better term super well known, like miss me with that overcharging, you know? Like just because I'm new to like getting tattoos or new to getting like stuff on me, like doesn't mean you can like surplus charge, you know? But and usually they charge by the hour. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Charging by the hour, how long it's going to take is usually the hours that it gives. I wish I knew more about tattoos, to be honest. I feel like I could probably talk to a whole bunch of people that I know about like what tattoos to get and what tattoo places are good. Tattoo is also a cool word to say. Cool word to say. Tattoo. It was way too much for my tiny tattoo. Yeah, that's a stupid amount. That's like yeah, that's price gouging pretty much. It's like way overpriced. Um yeah. Well, do you have tattoos, Greg? Like besides that experience, that shitty fucking experience, like did you get any? Because like I know I want to get tattoos, but I haven't gotten any yet because one, when my sister got tattoos, my mom freaked out on her and like was like saying that she's gonna be a drug dealer and a gang member and go to jail because, she's nuts. But at the same time, like my sister's tattoo was fucking ugly. It was trash. I'm not trying to shit talk on my sister, but like this tattoo was like dummy. It was just bad. It was like a bad choice. That was supposed to be your first tattoo. Oh, oof. Well, maybe you can find someone else, who's not as shitty and not as bad to get your first tattoo from. Because like I'm kind of glad that I'm not getting a tattoo yet because, like I said, like I'm gonna wait for a good artist, and two, I'm kind of waiting for life events to happen before I get tattoos. So like, um, my mom said I could get one as long as I was 25 and moved out. Hey, you got all of that done, and since you moved out, like, who gives a fuck? Like you're not in their house anymore. You can do whatever you want. And I'm gonna do whatever I want, like regardless. It's just that I I don't want to get one yet. Like I'm chilling. I'm holding off on it. You found three artists, two here and one in Austin. Nice, nice. Do you like do you like what they do, or do you just think they're like they fit like your vibe? Well, like, because I know like some tattoo artists have like their own specific like styles of stuff. Like some people are really good at like just like lines and whatnot, and then people are really good at shading, etc. Like I'm still very new when it comes to tattoos and whatnot, but um, I just want to know like why did you get attracted to those three artists? do, 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 do. They do the outside. You're like, okay, yeah, I could buy that. I can see how that could be appealing. I feel like I want someone who is really good with like making and adding onto a sleeve, like because like my idea for tattoos has always been to get a sleeve on my left arm of uh so they do black and gray and fine line work. Oh, that's cool. That's perfect. I think that's like this most solid tattoo choice to get, to be honest. But so my idea for my tattoos when I get them is I want to get tattoos of all like the stories like I've produced, or like made come to life, like published or whatnot, and just like make a sleeve of like something representing every story. Like let's say if I had written like Harry Potter and the Hunger Games or something, I'd have like the lightning bolt scar, or like sun, or like Harry's glasses or something, or like a wand here or something, and then like a mockingjay or something. Like I just want to have like my arm literally tell the stories that I have told. I think that'd be super cool, and I think that'd be a cool way to kind of immortalize my stories on not just like wherever they exist, but also on me, and to show how much they mattered to me. And I think that'd be super. I think it'd be super cool. I think it would look like a really cool sleeve if my plan works out. Because so I have an alien story, so I'd have an alien head somewhere or something resembling that alien story, and I kind of want to have like a werewolf or a vampire referencing stuff, or a portal little doohickey thingy. Like I have a really cool idea, really cool um, sleeve idea, but that's gonna be later down the road because one, I think I'm a baby and I'm probably gonna like squeal whenever I get actual tattoos, but also because I want it to motivate me to make sure I make this stuff happen so it goes on my skin. Greg says, yeah, I don't want to do color, and I'm getting an anchor with an orchid and 3 roses from Monda. And someone like, oh, that's really sweet. That's really nice. I know friends also have, some of my other friends have tattoos that relate to their siblings. I feel kind of bad because I don't want to have anything that has reference to my siblings on my skin. I know that's kind of mean, but like, I don't know. It's like my body's about me. I'm kind of selfish about that. But to each their own. That's a really sweet gesture. I think that is a good point to end on for tattoos. All right. Okay. So, next point of discussion, which is birthday plans. So, and then after probably that, to school with some flowers and some comic book related ones. Yeah, that'd be cool. I remember having a friend in college who had a Joker tattoo on them. I don't remember where, but they had a Joker tattooed on their chest or their back somewhere. Someone can remind me, but it was really cool and it was so well made and it was super awesome and I was really jealous of it. And I think comic books are some of the coolest things to get tattooed on you because like they're already drawn. Like all they have to do is kind of like not necessarily trace it, but they're already cool action pieces. So I think they'd be pretty sick to get on you. But moving on to birthday plans. So, my birthday is in 20 days. I am turning 24. I am turning 24 on October the 24th. That is weird to me. That is so odd. You're probably going to get some steak, expensive whiskey, and hang out with your girlfriend on your birthday. Nice, nice. That's a good way to handle it when you can't really do much. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like that's why I'm talking this out loud because part of me is like, I could spend the day with Gabby and do a bunch of stuff with her, which is gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm only 24. Um, and that'd be fun. I love spending time with my honey, but at the same time, part of me is kind of like wondering, like, what if I did what I used to do back in like high school and made that like a bro night type of thing where I like live streamed and I just had a bunch of people on and talking and uh just shooting the shit just like way back in the day and make it less formal, way less formal than uh typical Spoken Misc episode, and maybe that'd be fun. Maybe that'd be cool because I have a idea to have a group episode sometime before my birthday, hopefully if I can. But if not, then maybe that could be the first one, and that could be kind of cool. And it's just like, you know, a birthday stream or something, and we all talk about movies, or we all talk about video games, or we all talk about stuff and things. But I don't know. I'm just trying to think like what could work out. Bro night with spicy nugs. Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Like, make sure everyone has to buy nuggets before they come on the stream, otherwise they don't get to participate. It's like everyone show your nuggets to the camera, and then you're good. That's how you get in. That's how I know you're cool. But yeah, so I kind of want to do that, but I'm still not sure because I'm also very much a like watch a movie and like go to sleep all day kind of person when it comes to like celebrating things. Like like I could totally go for like hanging out with a bunch of people and like talking to a bunch of people. But on the other hand, I also could go for like playing nothing but like Skyrim all day, you know? Like just taking a day for myself and me. I don't know. I'll have to deal with that when it comes there. But I think I might do a live stream because I think that'd be more fun and more interactive with people. Um, so yeah, I guess stay tuned. We'll see if that happens. I kind of like the idea. Depending, this has been going pretty good. Um, but maybe a group episode would be even more fun because I wouldn't be just talking to myself and you guys in chat. It'd be a lot more, um, I guess, dynamic. Um, but also, I forgot to mention, like, if you wanted to hop on the Discord and ask a question, like, more thoroughly, like, with your voice, you can pop in at any point in time. Oh, yeah, and I will not forget the hot Cheetos. I have hot Cheetos with me right now. They're, like, right there. I got that motherfucking thing on me. Um, but yeah, if there was, like, a question that anybody or something that somebody wanted to ask um, more thoroughly than just something, like, quick and chat, you can hop into the Discord. The link is on Facebook, the Facebook page for the Spoken Misc, and you can hop in and just like hop in, ask your question, and hop out if you don't want to ask too many or too long of a question. But yeah, that's available for anybody who wants to do that. Anybody who wants to be a part of the community there too. Hopefully we can get more people who like the show into it, so we could just you know have people sending memes to each other or something or whatever. But yeah. Um, Do you guys think I should do a live stream for my birthday? Do you think that'd be cool? Do you think that'd be fun? I think that'd be kind of, I think it'd be a fun thing to do if I make it a group episode too. I think it'd be fun. Oh, can you guys hear that? Street racers? Gabby says, yes, live stream group games like Jackbox or other games. If I'm not working, I'd watch it. Oh, hey, we could live stream Jackbox and like Among Us and stuff like that. Like that's part of why I wanted to have this stream be on a little bit more when I want to have it to be on Twitch too, because like, um, oh, you don't hear anything? Oh, okay, you can't hear the street racing. Okay, then only I can hear it, because they're super fucking loud. Um, because like I do like the idea of playing with people, and because we talk all the time, like naturally when we're playing games about random stuff, like it's a very easy way to kind of like just have people, talk. Like specific live streams could be like this is the set live stream that I'm going to put out later after this is all done. But those episodes could just be like, or those like live streams could just be me chilling with some people, just shooting the shit and playing games and stuff like that. So I think that's something that could be fun. Yeah, stuff to look forward to, I guess. But you guys can't hear the street racing, so I'm just gonna go on a rant about street racing then. Current question slash topic question mark question mark question mark, so I don't have to keep changing it. Um, the street racers that are around my neighborhood are some of the most annoying fucking things on the planet. Um, there was a time like a couple weeks ago where I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to get to work, and these fucking motherfuckers were fucking drag racing until 1 in the morning. Want to know how I know? Because I didn't get much sleep, and it was the worst fucking time. Because when I work at least 12 hours, usually. It could be lower, but most oftentimes it goes higher than 12 hours. And it's not fun when you couldn't sleep the night before because some street fucking racers were just being dicks and making donuts in the fucking intersection, like right nearby your house. Like it's just like why? Like Gabby says, you get them by your house too. It's dummy. Yes, it is so stupid. And we get them. Did you call the cops, Greg? No, I didn't call the cops because I was too busy trying to pass the fuck out. Like I was dead for those few weeks. Like I was like super tired. Like I needed to just like knock out. But like it just pisses me off because like on most nights like this, like right now they're not like too much of a nuisance, but like that night, like it was just stupid. Like come on, dude, like just go home. I know you're bored. Like fucking pick up Forza or some other racing game and race in there. Like don't keep everybody else awake with your stupid antics. You know what's funny? It's probably people who we went to high school with. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that these are people who we went to high school with who were like into souping up their cars and now have nothing to do because we're all in lockdown, and all they have to show for uh all the hours they've worked and put money they put in is their fucking car, and they're gonna show it off one way. Fuck everyone else who's trying to get sleep, I guess. But whatever, it's their fun, I guess. I just wish that, like, I wish that someone's fun would not interfere with my ability to sleep. Like, that's just the shitty thing. Like, car people are fine. Most of the people that are car people that I've met have been like meatheads and kind of, you know, uh, not dicks per se, but like very macho wannabe type people. Like, Gabby says, I never understood car people, but it's okay, not my business. Yeah, like, I don't. I'm trying to get car people. Like, I think I can kind of get it, because it's kind of like when we build, like when me and Greg built PCs. It's like you put your hands on it and you brought it to life technically. Like, you made it your own. Like, I know people like swap out engine parts. Some people make it so it's faster. Some people make it so it's louder. Some people make it so their wheels have rims. Some people make paint jobs and stuff, and it's like they customize their car to make it their car, like their own thing. And I respect that. Like, I think that's super cool that people take this machine and make it their own. I think that's really awesome. But it's a hobby that also keeps other people up, which is trash. Because, like, my gaming hobby, my writing hobby doesn't keep people up. It's quiet. It's something I can do on my own, like just chilling. Greg says we get a few street races here, but they usually end with someone getting shot. Really? Well, shout out to Texas, because that is fucking wild. No one gets shot here because, it's pretty safe in Morgan Hill for the most part, besides, the crazy MAGA idiots that want to fight people. Um, but, and I get car people because I love cars, but good lord, some people take it too far. Plus, I'd rather invest money in truck because I get more use out of it. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, there's a certain point where I think car people are like, I appreciate them, but then at the same time, there's like a teetering edge where they turn into like stupid assholes. Like, someone who makes it so their truck can like roll coal, like, fuck you. Like, there's no fucking point to making your stupid truck roll coal. Like, that's it's like you are literally making the world worse because you want to be a fucking asshole. Like, screw you, dude. Like, just have a normal fucking engine. Like, there's no point to have you roll coal. And then there's other people who make their, like, I guess exhaust have more smoke. Um they get petty when they lose, that's why. That's true. Like, some people get like super competitive and like, my car has to be the fastest, and like, I need to speed through traffic and fucking dip in and out of lanes and cause so much fucking chaos because I'm an impatient son of a bitch. It's like, fuck you too. Like, um you don't need to fucking dip in and out of lanes, because that's what causes most of the accidents that we see, is some asshole not giving a shit about the people around them, and you know jumping 4 lanes to get into, like, in front of someone in the other lane because they're moving just a little, like, fucking 5 miles slower than they want them to be. And it's stupid and it's ridiculous, and I don't get it. Roll coal, what does that mean? Roll coal is when when people change their engines so that they can process coal. Pretty much, it's stupid and it's shitty, and it's normally truck people in, um, very rural places that like to stick it to the libs and like to stick it to the environment because that's their entire personality, and so they do that, and it's stupid. It's less efficient and it's worse for the environment. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's one of the stupidest things I think about when car people to do. Like I can get wanting to have a better engine. I can get wanting to have faster engines. I can get wanting to have better wheels, better chassis, etc. But then there's just some things that are just fucking dumb like that. Craig says also a lot of people keep guns in their cars. So you don't want to piss people off while you're driving. Yeah, exactly. That's the other part of the thing too. Is like these a lot of the times, or maybe not a lot of the times, but like these impatient people are also people who have our trigger finger happy, you know? Like it's just nobody nobody wins. Nobody wins against these assholes. It's just like their impatience is just dangerous, and I wish they would, take a chill pill. Get some therapy to remind them that they don't need to rush everywhere, you know? They can take their fucking time in traffic and they don't need to cause accidents by being impatient. But what do I know? I drive a fucking C Max hybrid, so mm. It's actually just a mod that cuts the muffler straight to a diesel engine, so only diesel trucks are ones that roll coal. Oh, okay. Thank you for the clarification. I did not necessarily know that. I literally thought that they would fucking shove coal in their fucking um in their fucking exhaust or whatever. But I'm stupid when it comes to cars, so I figured I'd get corrected by something at some point. Yeah, we do all need therapy. Honestly, I think more people need to go to therapy in general. I think therapy is probably one of the best things you can do for yourself as an individual. Like when I had to go to therapy when I was a teenager, it really helped me because it helped me understand, I guess, more of the process of understanding my own emotions and um, like getting a hang on it a little bit better than I expected it to. Um, and it was definitely worth it. It definitely helped save me. I think that therapy is um, looked down upon as like a weakness a lot of the time too, especially with men, and it's infuriating because it's part of that stupid like machismo thing. Like, oh, you got help? You're not a real fucking man. A real man handles their own problem. It's like fuck you, dude. Like men kill themselves more often than women because they don't have means of coping, and it's because of dumb assholes like that who keep on saying like you're not a real man if you insert whatever the fucking bullshit you want to say here. like like the problem is that a lot of people feel like they need to handle their stuff on their own, you know? Like I'm all for that. Like I help myself a lot of the time. I cope with myself. I never had to um, take pills or anything, and I dealt with my depression and my issues like pretty much through what I learned from that moment in therapy, and just trying to get better on my own. So it's possible, but the thing is that it's never a bad thing to ask for help either. Like it's it's okay, and more men especially need to realize that it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to talk to someone about what's going on in your life. We would solve so many issues if people would just be willing to talk to someone and get the help that they need, um, it's really unfortunate that a lot of people feel like they shouldn't go, the first step to admitting there is a problem is to solving a problem is admitting there is a problem. And once you admit that and you get help, you're going to do nothing but win. You're going to be in a better place, I think, after therapy, no matter what, regardless of what's happening. Yeah, that's true, Gabby. It's also a financial barrier too. A lot of people who need therapy can't afford it. Um, it's really shitty because I remember when I had to go to therapy as a teenager, I had to pay $5 of copay every single time I went. Do you know how fucking weird that feels? To go to a place because they're gonna help you supposedly, but having to pay $5. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to walk into the room to get the help that they recommended you get. It was so fucked up. It was such a terrible thing to experience. And yes, I get that hospitals need money. They need to, be able to provide services and stuff like that, but they shouldn't be businesses either. Like, I really fucking hate the business model that hospitals have in America. Like, it's really disgusting. I felt so I felt like I was pimped out or like used, Like it's just it just felt weird to pay money so that I could get like mental health help. It was just odd to me. Greg says, that's why I'm at a point where I don't care about shit like that. Like if it doesn't make me a man, then oh well, I don't care. My girlfriend still loves me and I'm happy, so suck it. Yeah, that's fucking exactly how it should be. Like I don't need to prove my manliness to you, Like I don't have to prove I'm a man to do this shit or that stupid shit or that fucking um I don't have to like the exact same manly things you do to be more of a man. It's like my favorite response to what makes a man is probably from Nick Offerman. Someone asked him on a talk show, I think once, and he was like, they asked him like, so what makes a man? And then he was like giving the most honest, respectful answer because everyone expects the Ron Swanson. It's like a man eats meat and blah 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 blah. And Nick Offerman was like, I mean, a man is who stands up for what he believes in and his principles and stuff like that and helps others. And I was like, that's a good fucking answer. That's a really good fucking answer. That's what a man is. Someone who sticks up for what they believe in and then also helps others. That's a good man. Um, Gabby says, or insurance doesn't cover. And Greg says, well, healthcare in general is whack here. Gabby says $5 is cheap. LMAO, I've heard people say it's like $200 per session, but paying anything is still weird. And then Greg says, it's not a pissing contest. Yes, to all of that. $5 is cheap, and I understand that it was cheap. But if I hadn't had insurance, it probably would have been something like $200 per session. And that's the thing. Like, that should not have been a situation that anybody should be in. Like, it's important to me that we don't have the healthcare that other nations have that are leagues better than our own and leagues cheaper than our own. It's just mind blowing because like if your insurance doesn't cover that, you're kind of screwed. And it's just, how do you help someone who needs mental health help, who can't get mental health help because they can't afford it? And because they can't afford it, that probably falls more into why they have mental health issues. And then just this feedback loop of never ending terrible. And the simplest solution is to just have them get the help they need, but they can't do it because they're too poor. And then they can't fix their problems. And so they keep on staying poor because they can't fix their problems because they're too busy trying to deal with their problems. And it just, I don't, we need so much reform. I think we need so much reform. And Nick Offerman is awesome. He's probably one of my favorite actor, comedian peoples. Because one, I love him on Parks and Rec. Him playing like the libertarian stereotype, I think is fucking hilarious and awesome. But also, he's a very interesting dude, and he's very funny. Like, he actually woodworks, which I think is fucking awesome. Like, I think that it's wild that like either he fed into Ron Swanson's character or Ron Swanson fed into him, and then he works with wood. I think that's super interesting. Like, I don't know many people who work with wood, so that's pretty cool to me. And Keith says, yeah, there's definitely a societal problem with the expectation and pressure on what is masculine. Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that I think men need to talk about with each other because like even, okay, literally, okay, let me point this out right here. This little hair right here that is hanging off my head. There are so many people who would think that I'm unmanly for having hair that long. Good night, Greg. It's getting late there, I know. So yeah, have a good one. But someone would say like this long hair isn't manly, and it's ridiculous. Like there's nothing that makes this manly one way or the other. It's like, oh, you have long hair like a girl. Well, who gives? Why does it fucking matter to you? You know, like why does it? Why does it matter? Does it affect you? No. Then why do you care so much? You know, like I remember being teased way back, way back in like elementary school because the only friends that I had were girls because I couldn't fit in with the dudes, I guess, for some reason or another. But I had mostly uh, girlfriends, and we used to do a lot of not masculine type of like stuff at recess. We used to play and talk about like Harry Potter and um, being wizards and stuff like that. Like instead of playing like basketball or like wall ball or like even just playing on the playground, like we did things that were just not typically boy things to do, and I was teased because of it. I was called queer a couple times in elementary school, and that was really stupid. I didn't think it was an insult because at that point I had read The Hobbit, and in The Hobbit, Tolkien writes queer as an odd, and I always thought that they were just saying like, oh, I was a odd fellow, you know. So that was kind of funny. So like I never really took it as an insult, and it shouldn't be an insult um, at all. But like I always thought that was kind of funny that they were trying to make me feel bad and put me down and make me feel like I was less than I was. But I was just like, oh yeah, I like being odd. I'm a weirdo. I'm okay with that. So that was really funny to me. But that never went away. That kind of boy teasing never really disappeared, and it never really went away. I think until high school. Maybe not even in high school. Maybe not until college, because I don't know. Some guys just like pushing this idea of masculinity on other guys, and it's just disgusting. Like I never went for the sports at school. I was always a theater kid. I was always nerdier. I was always a reader, and those aren't typically masculine things. And it's just that like if it doesn't bother you, like why do you give a shit so much, you know? Like people can do their own things. People should be able to do their own things. And I hate that a lot of dudes put this pressure on other people to be like how they see the world or how like their fathers taught them to see the world, which is through this me man, me he man, me do manly things type of fucking bullshit. And there's so many other different kinds of people and different mentalities out there towards this stuff. Like I just don't get why we can't just chill. Like seriously, like if it's not bothering you, just let it go. Just let it go. Keith says, "I am glad there are more movies exploring this." There are. I'm glad that like a lot of modern filmmakers are like changing this perception of masculinity. Especially Moonlight is a perfect fucking example. Moonlight is so good at breaking down this stereotype. You know what? I'm gonna change this. We're gonna change this to Moonlight because this is gonna be a cool little segue. Because Moonlight is one of my favorite movies, and it totally deserved the Oscar it won the year it came out. Like literally, it was a toss up between Moonlight and La La Land. La La Land, and I was like totally happy with either of them winning. But the thing about Moonlight is that Moonlight deconstructs the macho personality and then also the thug personality. That is something that I absolutely love about that movie because this kid who grew up kind of queer because he didn't know that he was gay for the longest time until he really accepted it in high school. Um, had to overcompensate for his feelings of being different, and it was hold on. And it was heartbreaking to see because you could see that he was struggling with this thing inside of him of not accepting who he was, of not accepting the person that he always should have been. And because of that, he lashes out and he gets into juvie and he starts this life of not crime, but of like, I guess it is, yeah, technically this life of crime, this life of this low life, I guess, this life of like being lesser than. I mean, sure, he had stuff and things and money to buy, but like he was never true to who he was, and he was never true to himself, and he was never true. And that was the thing when he met that guy again, that those walls get broken down at the end of the movie, and it's just one of the most beautiful things because once he finally accepts himself for who he actually is, that entire facade of him being a thug and him being macho and being too much of a man to be gay immediately gets broken down because this person is just unapologetically who they are, and it convinces him that it's okay for him to be who he is. And I think that's phenomenal, and I think that's one of the best themes about that movie and the best things. But at the same time, like his father figure is also a really good change on how to be masculine as well. But Keith also says it's like trying to prove to himself or do the exact thing everyone else expects you to be. Yeah, it's like he's trying to prove to himself that he's a man, and to prove himself he's a man, the only examples he has are his um, drug lord adoptive father, and then also all the criminals that he had to be around in juvie, and then all the assholes he was around in high school. Like that's all he was fed was just a bunch of overly macho bullshit, and he had to prove himself that he was a man and not gay at all through this overly macho bullshit. And it's a lie. It was all a lie, and it was all fucked up. And once he finally accepts it, that's when he's like actually free. And that's, I think, one of the best parts of the movie is that it ends with him crying and finally like accepting himself for who he is and all the trauma and bullshit he went through to kind of hide that. Um, yeah, I think that's probably like one of my favorite movies of the past decade because of that whole breaking down of masculinity and homosexuality. Like I think it's super super good. I definitely recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Just go and watch Moonlight. I'm not saying you should have to like it, but like if you look at it through what we were just talking about as a deconstruction of being tough, it becomes a lot better. It becomes a whole lot better. It's already good. Its cinematography is fantastic, but it becomes even better than it normally does. Like it's chef's kiss. Okay. Oof. Oh, we're almost at the end here. We got 8 minutes left. But Moonlight was a really good topic. Um, you know what? I kind of want to talk about other stuff, but I don't know what. What should I talk about for the remaining few minutes that we got? Sound off. Sound off in the chat. What should we talk about for the last 8 minutes? Because I got nothing. We went through all the topics that I wanted to get through, and I am chilling. We could keep talking about movies. We could keep talking about other stuff. We could talk about machismo. We could talk about therapy again. We could talk about other stuff going on. Um, yeah, just let me know. I'll try to think of something in the meantime, though, so that way we're not, just hanging about here, without any noise. Um, we'll talk about La La Land. We'll talk about the other movie that was up for the Oscar during that year, because that was a really good year for the Oscars, to be honest. That was a super good. It was a super good year. These movies were fantastic. Like I said earlier, La La Land and Moonlight were like the obvious two picks for winning the Oscar. And when that whole stupid fiasco happened where they mixed up the ballots or whatever, the things to read out, where La La Land was said to have won but didn't actually win, was probably one of the funniest and stupidest things to be um, to witness, because part of me was wondering, like, Loki, this is a conspiracy theory, but part of me was wondering if La La Land was like slated to win. Like, I think it was staged. Part of me thinks that it was staged. Like, they totally thought that La La Land was going to win because it's a circle jerk Hollywood movie. It was guaranteed to win, and it was well made, and it's a fun movie, so it was guaranteed to win. But Moonlight was making so much buzz for being, this beautiful exploration of manliness and homosexuality, and also blackness, that they were like, "Fuck! If we don't give it to the black people, we'll never hear the fucking end of it." And so they were like, the Hollywood top people were like, La La Land's fantastic though. So, yeah, it's like Oscars try to low key pander though. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So, like, they were like saying, like, we can't let the Hollywood white people win again, Because that's what every self relating Hollywood movie wins. Every self relating Hollywood jerk off session will get an Oscar. Guaranteed. Every single time. Um, whether it's for best director or best picture overall, it doesn't matter. Like, if you show Hollywood and you show it in a fun, referential way and you jerk it off, it's going to win something. And so they were like, fuck it, we can't have La La Land win. Like, it's too sensitive, like, now. And plus, this movie is really good. So why don't we just give it to Moonlight? And so they staged that fiasco on purpose to kind of drum up attention, that's saying, like, see, Hollywood isn't so white and racist, even though, yes, it is. But they're like saying, like, no, we're not racist. We let Moonlight win. See, Moonlight won. Moonlight won. Here, it's on the ballot. Keith says they got to take a first step somewhere, right? Yeah, like, I'm glad. Like, this was their first step to, like, being more inclusive, so I'm glad. But at the same time, part of me feels like it was staged to drum up also, like, views to it, because people were, like, watching that, like, fiasco, like, on like YouTube and Facebook and stuff, like, afterwards, like, oh no, they fucked up the actual ballots, like, oh no, they done messed up, like, oh no, haha. It's like drama for the sake of drama, to drum up support for the Oscars, and people were, like, talking about it for a long time. And so, I don't know, but it doesn't seem impossible either that they staged all that situation. And then a few years later, don't expect a foreign film to win Best Picture. Keith, that's true. See, that's the thing. Like, I do feel like Moonlight had a whole lot of support within the Hollywood community, because for the most part, a lot of people within Hollywood, besides, top execs and stuff, are pretty, like, liberal and, like, socially progressive. And so I feel like a lot of people did actually expect and want Moonlight to win, because, one, it's a good movie, and two, it's very progressive. Um, and we can see that evidence to this day with the fact that Parasite won Best Picture, and it's a foreign film. It's South Korean. It's Bong Joon-ho, whose most notable work in the Americas was Snowpiercer, which is very different from the societal commentary that Parasite is. And it blew everybody away. I think that the impact that movie had, it cannot be understated. Like, it is timely. It is as timely as the Joker, and it is as poignant as I can't really say it's as poignant as anything, because there's not many movies that are poignant right now, but it's very poignant to our times. Gabby says, I'm glad I made you watch Snowpiercer. I'm glad you made me watch it too, because it's a good movie. It was really interesting to watch. And you can see Bong Joon-ho's style in that movie. But Parasite is a league of its own. It is one of those movies that entertains thoroughly, but also has that super impactful message that it wants to get out and it wants to hit you with. And it looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. I mean, not as gorgeous as, like, 1917 was, but, like, it's so phenomenal. It is such a good movie to watch. But back to La La Land, because I was talking about that earlier. La La Land is actually one of my favorite movies of all time, for very different reasons to Moonlight too, which is kind of funny, because, like, Moonlight is that circle jerky Hollywood movie, but Damien Chazelle is one of the directors I respect a whole lot because the way he makes everything so timed to the music, because he's a music guy at heart. Like, he went to Juilliard or something. He went to some music school to learn how to do actual music, and then he got into film with Whiplash and whatnot. So La La Land was like perfectly timed. Like, if you watch that movie again, like, feel the rhythm of the movie and you can feel it going to the music, and that's impressive and that's cool. And then obviously all the songs are fun because it's a musical, and it's really cool because they have Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone in it, and they're fantastic in that movie. Um, I think that had Moonlight not existed that year, La La Land was like 100% going to be the best picture of the time and going to win like every award it possibly could. Um, but I'm glad Moonlight snuck in and like snatched all those awards away because it deserved it too. Very different movies, but very good. Um, very great. Both are very great in their own right. Hmm. Okay. We got a minute left. I want to thank all you guys for viewing my first live stream of the Spoken Misc. And I want to thank everyone who's listening on the podcast in the future for listening. Thank you so much for listening to um, this attempt, and hopefully it turns out okay. Once I get the chance to put this up onto, you know, Spotify and Anchor and whatnot, um, that it doesn't feel kind of disjointed and it feels kind of okay. Um, but yeah, just let me know if you want to do it again. I think I like doing this. Part of me kind of wants to, maybe when I'm editing other episodes, um, to, just live stream me editing stuff and just talking a little bit here and there about things and whatnot. Because I think that'd be kind of fun too. Just like a chill, like, hey, just pop in, say hello, say what's up, and, talk to me and I'll talk to you. Because a lot of the times when I'm like editing things, it's kind of just boring me, just like going cut, paste. It feels lame and very solitary, which isn't terrible, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe we could just do this more. So like, just let me know, give me some feedback. I had fun doing this. It was very interesting. Um, but yeah, I guess that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.